What's up, boys and girls, children, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome to yet another episode of Mr. Smythe Reviews the Reformation Packet. This is it, folks. I hope you guys are ready because this is the last one. Okay. There are hundreds of streamers. The chat, shout out to the chat. It's blowing up right now. Don't look, sit down. Get out here. All right. Going strong. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the viewers. Shout out to the fans. Shout out to the fans. All right. We left off yesterday with, I believe, on 51. So let's take a look at 52 with the question. We only have a couple today. 52. Mannerist artists on the Renaissance and creating a new style. All right. So this is the dominant art form in Europe at this time. All right. What's the deal? It's called mannerism. And people that practice it are a mannerist. All right. It is an art form that is focused on, and we kind of talked about this yesterday, distorted proportions. Okay. So this art form is very much the opposite or in response to not only what's going on in Europe at this time, but kind of what the popular art form or art was in the Renaissance. Okay. In the Renaissance or during the Renaissance, as far as art is concerned, we are very much focused on being as possible. Real. Okay. Realism is big, right? We want to have a lot of realism. We want to have a lot of natural aesthetics. Okay. We're trying to paint or sketch the most realistic representation of the human body as possible. Well, this is not that. In fact, this is almost the opposite. It's not focused on the most realistic depiction. It is intentionally distorted, right? We're exaggerating proportions, we're elongating figures, and we're departing wholesale from naturalism of the Renaissance. And a lot of that art, the popular form of art in any era, is often a reflection of what's going on or what the people of that era are dealing with or feeling. And so in this era, there's a lot of, confusion. We're questioning things that we thought we understood or that were the foundation of society. And so, our sense of being and understanding in the universe is off. And thus, in our art, it's going to be, exaggerated. So, and we also have unconventional compositions. Okay.
Do you have a glue stick?
I don't think so. Let me check 1 second. Okay, so we have 2 examples. Hold on, let me check. 2 examples that are pretty famous that represent what we're talking about. It should be in range. Shout out to the chat. I'll be right back. No, I don't have one. I'm sorry. There will be someday. Fake it till you make it. You never heard that? All right. Unconventional compositions and distorted proportions. Okay. Remember, the focus of art in the Renaissance. No, why? No, that was my spelling. I put stuff in there to fix my spelling errors so you guys don't make fun of me. Yeah, but the problem is you have to correct it. Like that just does it. You can just copy and paste it. What? Yeah, but all right. I'm not arguing this point with you. Where are you going, Aaron? Sorry. Good. 50. Yeah, Aaron's walking out. She's like, this is too stupid for me. Again, this is more art stuff. All right, so the Baroque art and the Baroque period is a really big moment in European art, and I would pretty much guarantee you a question on your exam that references Baroque art. Okay, and most likely it will be some sort of comparison between the Baroque art, style of art, or his art, right, mannerism, and then the naturalism and things like this from the Renaissance. Okay, because they're basically opposites, right? So I would really suggest kind of working with this or doing whatever you need to do to memorize this stuff or understand what is some of the artists that work in this style and some of their work, the title of it, because I could really see this being a question that they ask you, right? Either directly or indirectly. Either what is the difference or how do they line up, naturalism, Renaissance art, and Baroque or Mannerists, and then indirectly in that, give me an example of another period of European art that relates somehow to the Renaissance or something like that, right? So Baroque goes beyond mannerism. It's dramatic realism, ornate detailing, right? Which and then innovation in technique. Okay. All right, 54. Few more. We're done. Elements of society represented in the 16th and 17th century European art. Okay. What elements of society were represented in the art of the 16th and 17th century? Social hierarchy. Whoops. I hate this computer. Okay. So, what elements of society from the 16th and 17th century are represented in these forms of art? We have social hierarchy because we're seeing the nobility, the clergy, and common people represented in different ways. We have political power as portraits of European rulers become something that is popular um, and something that's done. And then we have religious influence as we see um, religious symbols or symbolic representations of religion being represented in some of the artwork. Okay. This is an interesting question and one that I think is important because, again, I think it ties into a couple different topics that I think you could be called upon to reference directly or in another question. And that is this idea that during the period of the Reformation, religion or the church is losing power, but it really doesn't, right? It does and it doesn't. Meaning, again, this is a common misconception about the Renaissance that we talked about, that the Renaissance was very anti-religion, and at the end of the Renaissance, the church took a huge blow in their hold over the people and the power of Europe. And that's not really the case, right? Yes, it diminished, right? The way that the church and religion were viewed by the people, right? It kind of starts the crack. The Reformation is a big shake up as far as religion and the church's dominance over like politics and power and things like that. But when the dust settles in the Reformation, the church is still and the clergy are still some of the most powerful components of European society. So it's not like it wipes them out wholesale. It changes some things, it changes some of the dynamics. It does uh, curtail their power a bit. But at the end of the day, they're still a major part of European society. All right. So, what are some of the components of uh, this period that see a change in the dynamic of religion and church? And this is stuff that we talked about kind of moving forward in the Enlightenment. But it was scientific awareness, right? Science and the scientific method starts to develop. Rationalism, the idea that we should look at how the world works, not from a religious viewpoint, but from a viewpoint of rationality and logic. Um, Artists start to explore secular and mythological themes, getting away from religious subjects. So we're not just painting religious themes or settings anymore. And then continued ritual significance. All right. Despite warning, personal devotion, waning, sorry, waning. So despite waning, personal devotion, religion maintained a ceremonial and cultural importance in people's lives. So it's the beginning of a very slow diminishment of the role and the significance of religion in the lives of people in Europe. Okay, so like even today, is religion as big in the average European person's life today as it was during the period of the Middle Ages? No, it's not even close. But is religion still a big part of life and culture in Europe? Yeah. Yeah. It's not anywhere near it was where it was, but it's still a thing. There are still a lot of churches in Europe. There are still a vast majority of people that practice religion, right? Is it is religion's hold or influence over people in Europe increasing today? No. It has been pretty much steadily decreasing since this period right here that we're talking about. But it's still a factor. So now we're talking about the role of religion in conflicts in Europe. We obviously have the religious wars. So even in the so-called religious wars, religion was a big part of why those wars happened. It wasn't the only reason. In fact, even in those um, conflicts, the role that religion played in them coming about is often uh, overstated. Right? Most wars throughout history are fought as a result of economic, territorial, or political conflict. So what they're saying here with interplay of effects is just that um, it very rarely is one thing that causes conflicts, right? Not just at this time, not just in this period, but throughout history. It's very rarely just a religious war, right? What and a lot of times it'll be sold as that, meaning they'll say like this is a war for, we're fighting this for democracy, we're fighting this for, but in reality, there's other things at play. It's a combination of issues. Yep. I'm not even going to do the 57. 57 is an opinion. All right. So that's it. We are done. All of the questions. So the vocabulary part is on you. This one? Get that door. All right, chat. That's it. Shout out to all the fans. Catch you on the next one. Love you guys.